What's up you guys, Mo Awesome from Awesome MTB. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Awesome MTB Fall Bike Buyer's Guide. What's up you guys, Mo Awesome from Awesome MTB. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our Awesome MTB Fall Bike Buyer's Guide. Over the last few months, I've been testing out some of the best bikes on the market. Now in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Yeti ASR as part of our XC portion of this buyer's guide. However, if XC isn't for you, I've also been testing full power EMTBs, gravel bikes, and pedaling enduro bikes. And if none of those categories are for you, be sure to subscribe because we have some big plans for 2026 with more shootouts. Huge thank you to you guys for supporting these series. If you guys can let us know in the comment section if you guys do like these videos, it really does help out the channel a ton. And also I want to give a huge thank you to the companies that made this series possible, and that is Feedback Sports, Pit Viper, Tailwind Nutrition, and Formula 100. And like I said, in today's video, we are going to be breaking down the Yeti ASR. Now you guys know I absolutely love this bike because this was actually one of the winners of our previous XC buyer's guide. It actually tied with the Cannondale Scalpel. Now we had to bring back both the ASR and the Scalpel for this buyer's guide to really make it the ultimate showdown. And my second time of having this bike in a buyer's guide has been just as awesome, and I have truly been blown away at the performance of the Yeti ASR. So what is the Yeti ASR? Well, this is going to be Yeti's first return to the XC market. It has 120 millimeters of travel up front with 115 millimeters of travel in the rear, and we do have a flex day suspension design. Now this right here is their T4 XTR Turk series frame, so this is going to be the higher end carbon. They also have a more budget friendly carbon frame option, and as you guys can see, we have the classic turquoise paint, one of the best looking XC bikes I personally think on the market. Now in this build, we have a RockShox Sid Ultimate fork up front with 120 millimeters of travel and a Sid Lux rear shock. Now we do have a 3-position twist lock remote setup up front. The bars themselves are race face Next SL bars at 740, and we have a bike yoke stem at about 55 millimeters. We also have the brand new Shimano XTR Di2 drivetrain, and with that combination of Shimano brakes and drivetrain, this is going to be Yeti's first return to a full Shimano build in quite some time. Now the dropper post, we have a Crank Brothers Highline 11 carbon dropper post that actually is a full carbon setup with a WTB Solano saddle. And for wheels, we have a DT Swiss 1700 carbon wheel set with Maxxis Recon tire up front and Recon Race in the rear. Now a couple of other minor details with the frame I want to point out. The definition of this bike is fast, and you can tell the small things that they have done, like go with the bike yoke seat collar, that bike yoke 2-bolt stem up front. The axle itself is also a super light axle, and overall you can tell that Yeti wanted to make one of the lightest XC bikes out there that also had a lot of capabilities out on the trails. Now in terms of bike weight, the size extra large XTR Di2 ASR build with XTR clipless pedals is coming in at a very impressive 25.57 pounds, which is insanely light for a bike as capable as the ASR is. We're going to take this bike on the trails, show you guys how it performs out here in South Mountain, and then we're going to talk about some things that I absolutely love about the Yeti ASR and some things that I don't necessarily love. What's up you guys, just want to take a quick second and thank today's video sponsor, and that is Cycle Limited. Cycle Limited is your go-to online retailer for certified pre-owned bikes and gear, all at unbeatable prices. They work directly with manufacturers to offer the best deals on top-tier road, MTB, gravel, and e-bikes, plus parts and accessories. Every pre-owned bike is professionally inspected, tuned, and ready to ride. They also are able to get direct manufacturer pricing, so there's no middle person, just great deal on new bike parts. Once again, not only can you get an insane deal on bikes, but they're also shipped within the same day. The bikes come very well packaged, and you can have them built up in no time. It's awesome seeing how much care they put into packaging their bikes, and these bikes are exactly how the listing shows them. In addition to fast and secure shipping, they also offer hassle-free returns, and international shipping is coming soon. They have a rad bike quiz finder on their website as well, and it is an awesome way to narrow down their huge selection of available bikes to figure out what works for you and your price point. Cycle Limited also owns every bike they sell, ensuring top-tier quality and a worry-free buying experience. Once again, some of the deals on their site on certified pre-owned as well as new bikes are awesome right now, and I will go ahead and link them in the description. Once again, you guys, we can't recommend Cycle Limited enough, and and they also have some insane deals going on right now for Black Friday. We're gonna go ahead and link the Black Friday sales in the description of this video. Some awesome savings to be had. Huge thank you, Cycle Limited, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the review. Okay, so we are out here at South Mountain for the XC Buyer's Guide on the Yeti Cycles ASR, the winner or one of the winners from our last XC shootout. So it's gonna be interesting. My time on the ASR has been nothing short of amazing second time around as well. This bike really is insane. It's off technical off of the get-go. And if I told you guys this bike wasn't one of my kind of leading favorites heading into this test, I'd be lying. I definitely, after my first time on the ASR, was blown away that I had to get back on it. This climb is always a fun challenge. Very loose, a lot of twists and turns, and a ton of chunk. And the ASR powers up with ease. So we're gonna have size proportional chainstays on here, but we're gonna have a slightly shorter reach, adding to that maneuverability from the front. So a ton of traction in the rear and plenty of nimbleness up front. And the key to this, control it in and then just power up. No issues for that ASR. That front, once again, you guys, this still has that race element to it, but just in a very comfortable manner, which is awesome. Another section where maneuverability kind of crucial up over here. Holds its line so well and so much traction in the tech while still remaining efficient. What a great feel from the ASR. A little bit of technical downhill before we make our way up a little bit, but look at how aggressive this is. And the ASR, for what it is, like I said, very endurance style XC bike, but so capable. It still rolls, there we go. Awesome, no issues for the ASR. Once again, you guys, I know you're spending your hard-earned dollars on whatever bike you go with next, and I need to make sure that that bike is not only gonna be fast, but also last. That is why I take these reviews so seriously. The Yeti ASR, I could confidently say, is a very solid buy. And I would say if I was in the market for an XC bike, this is high on the list. Call this the bottom bracket test, because it really does test the bottom bracket. No issues for the ASR. Mega chunk, what a time to be alive. In 2025, I'm riding a full-on XC race bike, and we're riding stuff like that. Gotta go up the middle. Awesome. Once again, size proportional chainstays for the win, especially when it gets loose. This kind of feels like XC World Champs category. Kind of have a lot of boulders you gotta ride up, and then you gotta take this high line, kind of commit to it. And once again, you guys, no issues for the ASR. So confident through this, which is insane given how light the bike is. And then up here, down here, then right over here. The thing to note with the ASR, once again, besides the comfort aspect to it, it has also a very quiet feel to it out on the trails. And I would say overall, very enjoyable how this bike sounds on the downhills. Ooh. Up and over, nice. Actually, you're gonna go straight into the chunk, not avoid it. This is a test, you guys. If we're gonna test something, we're gonna test it right. And this is one of the ultimate stability tests, especially for an XC rig. The ASR, insanely stable, even given how maneuverable it feels. How's it going, guys? Even though size proportional stays a little on the longer side, sections like that might require a little more finessing. I just kind of have to whip the rear end around a little bit, but overall, I would say appreciated for how much high-speed stability you get. And then I think we're gonna go high line here and just straight into the mega chunk. No issues for the ASR. Take the high line. Oh my God. I really do enjoy also that sit up front. And I've said it, I actually think in terms of mass production, something you can just find stock on a bike, this sit might be one of the best forks on the market right now, given how capable it is and also how light. You can just ride so much with this sit. All right, through here, we're gonna take the chunkier line. No issues for the ASR. Plenty capable. And just right down here. 2025, you guys, modern XC bikes are where it's at. Overall, I've been so impressed with the ASR. Look at this chunk down here. Insane. This is a 115 millimeter XC race bike, you guys. 2025. All right, so the first thing that I absolutely love about the Yeti ASR is the ride feel out on the trails. This, I truly think, is one of the most comfortable frames on the market right now. The vibration dampening from this Yeti ASR is pretty insane, and you can tell this would make an insane endurance XC race bike. I really do feel like the vibration dampening makes absolutely no sense because the bike itself is still very capable. I could see myself racing the ASR at something like BC Bike Race because once again, I do feel like endurance XC is going to be name of the game here. One of the most comfortable ride feel out on the trails, and I absolutely love the vibration dampening. Now, another thing that I love about the Yeti ASR is that geo. I think they absolutely hit the nail on the head with the geo on the ASR. I love the size proportional chainstays. I also love the reach numbers. The reach is actually a little on the shorter side if you're going to compare it directly to that scalpel, and I think what Yeti wanted to do was give it a little bit more maneuverability from the front end while retaining that high speed stability through size proportional chainstays. So you have a little bit of a longer rear end, a little bit of a shorter front end, and overall what you get is that maneuverability from the front while still staying very stable overall at higher speeds. I also love how this bike climbs. I feel like the seated pedaling position on the Yeti ASR is insane, and once again I keep going back to Endurance XC. I feel like I could spend days in the saddle on the ASR. It's one of those bikes where if I'm going to be going for a big all-day ride, I don't know where I'm going. Normally I'm reaching for the ASR because once again the comfort, especially on longer rides, is pretty insane. That leads me to another thing that I love about the ASR is that suspension profile. I really like flex day bikes, and I feel like the ASR has a much more active approach to that flex day, especially when the shock is open. I think Yeti knows that a lot of riders will be running their bikes with lockouts, so the ability to have a lot more traction over chunk. Once again, this is only 150 millimeters of travel, so 5 less than your typical 120 mil XC race bike. And overall, I didn't feel like the travel numbers were holding me back. If anything, it felt like it had more travel than it did. And once again, that more active approach, especially over tech in the open mode, is pretty insane on the ASR. And when you put it in the pedal setting, so the middle setting on that 3 position, it has a very good pedaling mode. And I actually do like that middle mode for a majority of rides. You kind of put it in there, set, forget, open it up when the descents start. However, when you flip it to the climb mode, you get that efficiency you want out of a lockout. And yeah, I feel like having a much more active open setting gives you that ability to put it in the open, have fun on the descents, feel like it's very capable on the descents, but still get the efficiency when you go back to the middle as well as the locked out mode in the 3 position lockout. Another thing that I absolutely love about the Yeti ASR is the looks. This is, in my opinion, the best looking, I would say not only XC bike, but maybe one of the best looking mountain bikes right now. Just the lines, the aesthetics, the paint job, how they're able to kind of still show a little bit of that carbon, but have that turquoise paint on there. And overall, I think the Yeti ASR is, like I said, one of the best looking bikes on the market. Now, some of you guys are probably like, well, that doesn't have anything to do with performance. I really do think it does. I think if you look at your bike and it makes you want to ride, it's just that much easier to get out the door, especially after a long day. I've always said I really do like when bikes look good, and I feel like the Yeti ASR looks amazing. And I also do really love the XTR Di2 drivetrain. I feel like the speed at which it shifts is very necessary for XC. People who know me know I like fast shifting bikes, especially on the XC side. You're just kind of going up, down, all around. And yeah, overall, I was very impressed by the speeds of the XTR Di2 system. So what are some things that I don't necessarily love about the Yeti ASR? I would say if you're a rider out there that's looking for a very stiff frame, it's not going to be the stiffest XC bike option. I do think there are some other 120 mil flex day option bikes in the shootout that might have a little bit more frame stiffness than the ASR. With the Yeti, like I said, it has a very comfortable ride feel out on the trails, and it's still plenty stiff, especially when you get out of the saddle and start sprinting. But when things do get chunky, you do feel like the frame, like I said, has a little bit more vibration dampening, and I do think a little bit more flex than some other bikes in this test. And overall, that does lead to a lot more comfort out on the trails. And another thing to keep in mind with the Yeti ASR is even though I do appreciate a little bit of a shorter reach to have that maneuverability from the front end and pair it with those size proportional chainstays, if you are that rider that's looking for ultimate stability, I do think if Yeti was to increase that reach by say 5 to 10 millimeters up front, you would get a little bit more high speed stability from this bike. But I do think at that point, you might feel like the bike is a little bit tougher to kind of turn, especially tight, twisty tracks, and not everyone's gonna want that. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind is if you're a very tall rider and you were gonna compare this bike to the Candle Scalpel in the size XL, you might feel like the XL and the Scalpel is a little bit bigger than the ASR. But other than that, there wasn't too much I didn't absolutely love about the Yeti ASR. Like I said, I truly think that the Yeti ASR is not only one of the best XC bikes currently, but also one of the best looking bikes on the market, period. I think the team at Yeti did a lot of research into XC before coming out with the ASR. I love the on-trail frame feel from the ASR. It has a very high quality ride feel, especially when things get chunky. I love the vibration. calibration and everything. I love the frame construction. And overall, I have had a blast spending time on the Yeti ASR. Now, how does the ASR compare to some other bikes in this test? You guys are gonna have to stick around to the conclusion video of this series coming soon. And if you guys have any questions I didn't answer about the Yeti ASR, definitely let us know in the comment section. Happy to help. And until next time, you guys, ride awesome.